Hi, everyone. I'm James Garbutt,
And I'm Denny Dumas.
and this is the Garbutt Dumas Real Estate Podcast.
"2021 is winding down, guys, and it's that time of year, usually kind of like late November and through December into January. We're kind of game planning for the next year, talking about marketing plans, talking about potential refreshes in our branding, potentially ordering new signage and business cards and stationery and all that kind of stuff. And so we just kind of wanted to share what the GD team is doing, but also just some tips and things that have worked well for us in the past in trying to get ready and prepared for what we think is going to be a very, very busy 2022. So I'll let Jamie start a little and just kind of share some thoughts, but from a realtor perspective, what are you doing in these naturally slow periods of the year towards the end of a year to prep and get prepared for a busy year coming up?
It's evolved over the years, Denny. For years, I would run around town, drop off Christmas gifts in a frantic panic because the list would be so long this time of year. But COVID has changed things a little. It's simplified our business a little. We're changing as well. And December is, I think I heard someone mention this in a podcast, the Sunday of real estate. It's always a slower month. It doesn't mean that it's dead. We're still trucking along with buyers, but far fewer listings. So December is the time where we typically plan the year ahead. So aside from planning, December is also the time where we reward past clients from the year or referral sources throughout the year that we were just in such a busy time that we didn't get to reward them earlier. So catch up on rewarding clients and people that were good to us. Marketing side, whether it's website, whether it's business cards, whether it's signage, some of our for sale signs, the stickers pull off the ink. The business cards are a little dated. The website needs a little bit of an upgrade. December is the time to tackle that. And when I say December, January is the overflow as well. A lot of people don't work in December when it comes to outside professionals. So let's say December, January are the time to get your branding updated, any stationery, any marketing materials. If you need a new listing presentation, this is the time to get the design up to date, get it printed for January, start the year right. And then outside of that, we have a little bit of a brand refresh from our team. So, we're the Garbutt Dumas Real Estate team. We've had the same logo for a few years, but as we're growing and evolving, I think we're just leaning more into just a simple G&D icon. We want the realtors on our team, their names to stand out more. And when you have a long name like the Garbutt Dumas Real Estate team with James Garbutt and Denny Dumas and Monica Harmse or an agent on the team, it's just a mouthful. So one rebrand strategy we're taking is just leaning more on the G&D icon, letting agents stand out, better quality signs, using that reflective material. So at nighttime, you get the important stuff reflecting. We are, our brand color is a deep red. We're going a little deeper with the red. The whole purpose behind that color is just to portray quality, professionalism, luxury in some cases. And of course, we have to update our bragging rights. Another year of sales, and this year was a record year for us. And our listing presentations, our websites show previous year's stats, and it's time to update those. But before I get into everything, Denny, there is some big news for our team.
What's that?
Well, big news is we are switching brokerages. We're changing it up.
Wait, where?
We are going to Oakwyn. So it's been... And I should mention, Monica is on this podcast too.
They take up all the airtime.
Our team's making a switch. We are a pretty independent team. We have our own office in New Westminster. It's a satellite office. So we're not in the brokerage or any brokerage that we would be with often. So we kind of are an independent team. And for our team, we felt it was the right time for some change. And the idea of going behind a local brand like Oakwyn, that's a local success story. The office that we're moving to is the most active selling office that has the highest sales. I think it was a Greater Vancouver or BC.
BC.
It was all BC wide. There's some impressive talent there, some people our age that are doing big things. There's some people that are inspiring to look up to with the content they're creating. So overall, from an innovative marketing standpoint and for supporting big teams like us and having a brand that is local behind our name, it's an exciting change.
Yeah, we got to go check out the office yesterday, the Oakwyn brokerage office, and it was a really awesome vibe. You have a lot of young professionals. We loved our brokerage that we were with before, but it was just time to make a change. And I felt once we were actually in the office that it was the perfect change for us. People stopped by and said hello, and they were excited to work with us. And that was really motivating. There's some really good teams at that Oakwyn office. And my first instinct is, I want to beat them. I want to sell more than them. And that's
I want to befriend them and then beat them.
Yes. I want them to think that we're their friends. But that's the environment that you really want. That's exciting.
Yeah, I get they're slick in terms of their marketing and the branding. So I personally get inspired by all the little pieces of marketing I see from them, whether it's the swag that they have at the front entrance with the shirts, or the way that their business cards are, the signage, the emails that go out, all those little things that they do inspire what we do, and we'll tweak what we do just by being involved in it. Morgan and Michael have built an impressive, and Arlene have built an impressive company, and excited to be a part of it.
Any high producing realtor out there is going to be recruited by brokerages throughout the year. And this is something that we always put on the back burner and just kind of have discussions towards the end of the year in terms of, are we at the right place? Is this the right fit for us for the next year or two? And we really just kind of ignore those conversations until the end of the year, just because we're overwhelmed with sales and clients and all the things that go along. But the end of the year is a really good time if you're thinking of making a change to pull the trigger. Then you have time to rebrand, to order new signs, to order new business cards, new stationery, all of that kind of stuff. And obviously this year we're making a big switch, and we're pretty excited about it.
Another really important reason to kind of switch over in December is your listing count is low. It's really complicated to move listings from one brokerage to another seamlessly. And so I think this time of year is the best for us because we don't have very many listings right now.
Totally.
Yeah, big tip. If you're switching brokerages and you're an active agent, or even not an active agent, I think a great time to do the switch is between the Christmas and New Year's break, and basically the holiday season. There's no listings to transfer over. It's the simplest time to do it. The second time that we would ever consider doing a switch, which we've never done, would probably be the end of July. There's that July long weekend between July and August where, for myself, I intentionally try to get listings to expire before that long weekend. It seems to be a bit of a transition, but the most obvious transition in the market is the December holidays. Yeah. And for us, this was, I think we're excited for the energy that change brings. I think it will, just being in a different crowd and being surrounded by different agents and having access to different agents in a way that we're part of the same umbrella. I think that will elevate us. I think we have more resources to look out to, but ultimately we needed a lot of we needed an overhaul on our brand and our marketing material anyway. I think every few years it's a really good idea to look back at what you have and see what's dated. It's surprising how quick things feel dated. You can be proud of something 4 years ago and be embarrassed of it 4 years later.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's nice to just every few years, I wouldn't suggest every year looking at all your branding and marketing material, but with a few exceptions, but every few years do an audit. Do an audit of everything you're doing and improve it.
In the next few months, guys, how many times do you think you're going to say Monica Harmse with Keller Williams? And
oh my God, I'm going to do it for sure. Yeah, I'm going to do it for sure.
It's like like when you're writing contracts or writing emails or whatever, writing the previous year in January, writing 2021, and you're like, shit, it's 2022.
So you guys have been through a brokerage switch before. Yeah. I haven't. I've been with Keller Williams since I was licensed. I know a lot of agents have bounced around to different brokerages, but I'm a really loyal gal. I shopped brokerages really hard before choosing one, and I landed on them for a lot of reasons. They're great for new agents. So this is my first switch. You guys have been perusing all types of brokerages before.
Two switches for me. Yeah, I think there's a real good point. Yeah. When considering a brokerage, just in general, I think the agents and the people in the brokerage is number one. There's a name behind the company and a logo behind that name, but ultimately the interactions you have with other agents in the company and the managing broker and the owners behind the brokerage, that would be number one behind the decision for me. For Keller Williams, they had great people, and in some markets they are the right choice, hands down. And for new agents, they're really known for education, and that is, for new agents, high value. For a team that's independent like us, we're looking at different things. And so for our move was just motivated by a few system changes, a lot of little reasons that kind of add up. And ultimately, the goal is to have a more seamless team where our Rachel, our back end, can have more control over our listings, and ultimately we just don't want to delay listings and sales from hitting the MLS, and we want to have more control. And there's a few other advantages there as well. So let's talk about the planning side of things, because we're doing the brokerage change. This came hand in hand with a little marketing and rebrand update. But to be specific, like the Garbutt Real Estate team marketing for 2022, one thing that I noticed as I kind of wrote out a draft plan for the year, which I kind of do every year, and is that I've noticed it dialing back. There was a few years back, there was arguably, I think there was upwards of 22 touch points to certain clients throughout a year with the systems that we were doing. And openly, it just got too much to keep up with in busy time. So in busy times, those, we used to send out birthday cards, and that was a hard one to keep up with. So the birthday cards may never come back, but we send out anniversary cards to past clients that have moved. And that was hard to keep up with this year because of how busy our business was. So those stopped, but I hope those come back. So between anniversary cards for people that moved into places, special occasion cards that we choose throughout the year, including, the holiday season, which is one of them, email campaigns, the goal, which hasn't been hit in the last few years, but the goal for the year ahead is a little more reasonable than previous ones. And we'll probably try to send out an email to our database every second month. So call it 6 a year. And then some sort of printed newsletter, call it 3 times a year. So if all goes to plan, the touch points that our database, our clients will receive should be 12. If we have their address and they're in our market and they're in their system and our year's not going crazy, it'll be 12 touches a year. And I'm bringing that up because all 12 of those items need some sort of content planning or potential branding revamp, or if we send out the same Christmas card every year, it's just they're going to see. Some people might tell. So we want to update our content, and it takes having a plan of what the people that know you and your past clients that are going to receive content from you. It takes writing that plan down, looking at what those pieces are going to be, what the content in those pieces are going to be, and get ahead of it while it's December and January to make those design changes, get the Christmas cards for the year ahead, get the content for your first email campaign going out. All those things help.
We're really doing a big quality over quantity situation coming up. All the way down to our business cards, guys. We went really American Psycho with our business cards. And I can't wait to give one out. I'll let you guys know who the first person is that gets my business card, but we're really quality over quantity. I'm
just
pretty excited.
To be specific, we're going extra thick on the card stock. We have gold foil on both sides. We have a subtle G&D logo that's red on red, and it's a deep red, and they're supposed to paint the edges of the cards. Like, this is, when we say American Psycho, you got to watch the American Psycho business card GIF or video clips online.
It's so good. That's what we're going for. Yep.
On your marketing plan, just want to mention the importance of writing things down. And I really started doing this in the last few years, and mostly to hold myself accountable. It's really easy when you get into March, April, May, and you are swamped in this business. It's really easy to just kind of skip over or forget or just miss items throughout a week that are continuing to put your name in front of potential clients. And so one of the things that I've kind of adopted late in the year is writing down weekly, monthly plans for the next year moving forward. And it's really just to keep myself accountable and stay consistent throughout a year.
I think one little tip or suggestion for anyone that's kind of filling out their business, whether it's just doing more volume or growing a team, is really, if you're not doing it, I highly recommend emails and newsletters to the clients. I mean, that's a good habit to get into. It's growing an email list is important, and just getting the habit of sending newsletters out periodically. I think on the low end, I think you would achieve a lot by just having 2 emails and 2 newsletters going out in a given year. And as you grow a team, the way that we're trying to help evolve it, I am kind of the lead behind this content that goes out. So it's usually my fault when it doesn't go out. But when we're creating content in these podcasts and videos that, Monica and Denny do a lot of videos for our team. And in general, when we're creating that, there's tidbits of those pieces of content that could live in an email or a newsletter that goes out to clients. So when an email does come up, I often reach out to Monica or Denny and say, we all need a segment. So this, like, if I were creating we don't use a third-party company because the content that they provide is pretty generic. So we've never used a third-party newsletter company or email company because it's just not personalized. And our open rate is quite high. It's just north of 40%. So we want to make sure that the content is genuine and coming from us. I've struggled to create it in the past and keep up with it. So the shift that we've been making over the last little while is for Monica to contribute a section, Denny to contribute, and it gets the team involved with the content that lives in these newsletters and emails. And I think it's more sustainable. It's easier to do. It gets our clients a little segment from realtors that they worked with in our team, and it's authentic. So, yeah.
I think if you're thinking about getting a newsletter out to your clients, start small. Don't be overwhelmed. Newsletters sound like a lot. They sound like pages and pages of content, but it can just be a few pictures of your nice listings, talk about your high sales of the year, some sort of community content, and that's it. Like, make it really, really simple. Just get it out. Make it nice and clean, well edited, and start small. So if you're thinking about starting newsletters in 2022, maybe set goals for yourself. Say, okay, in March, I'm going to get one out in March. I'm going to get one out in September, and then Christmas. That's only 3. And then you can build your content around the time of year that you're putting it out, like preparing for spring, end of summer market or fall market. And then, of course, Christmas is a no-brainer. But start small. Don't overwhelm yourself because newsletters don't have to be pages and pages. Make the first few sentences really important so that people will read it.
Yeah, click the bait.
That's it, yeah.
Lure them in.
Yep.
And one other thing I'll add is this is a good time of year. And in general, I think an interesting way to create some authentic content is look back at your sales in the last year. If you don't have any sales, maybe look at the sales in the area. But ultimately, look back at your sales and create some awards within your sales. Best curb appeal, best backyard, best kitchen. Those are easy things to come up with that are interesting. And they're great for newsletters, great for emails, great for social media.
When you're slow and trying to fill time in the next few weeks, going into January, one of the things we always talk about in our team is reaching out to past clients. It's such an easy time of year to say hello, Happy New Year, hope your family's doing well, hope you enjoyed the holidays, whatever it may be, just to reach out. I know in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, we can often be very busy and we forget or just postpone those past client interactions. And this time of year is when I know myself, and I know Monica does this every year as well, just kind of go through your list of people that you've interacted with, people that have bought or sold with you in the last 12 months, 24 months, and whatever it is, and just connect with as many as you can.
Yeah, during really busy markets, especially with buyers, sometimes they can kind of fizzle out. They have been looking really, often, and then you just don't really hear from them for a few weeks or sometimes a month or two. Definitely during December, January months is a good time to get them out to just see one property. Just if there's one thing that's out there that's good for them, and then go for a coffee and talk about their goals. Because of course, realtors have goals, but our clients have goals too for 2022. And it's important to be collaborative with the goal setting, especially if you've been working with buyers so long that the market has changed since you started looking. So maybe they need to reevaluate the types of properties they're looking at. And it's nicer to have those conversations in person if possible, but definitely over a phone call that maybe you wouldn't have had time for when it was really busy.
Channel that high agent energy into relationship management and keeping in touch with people this time of year. I don't have any else. I think we covered it, Denny.
We're ready.
We're ready
for 2022.